Responding to their name is a very important foundational cognitive skill. It actually plays a key role in your child's social, cognitive, and academic development. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 ABA techniques that is often used to teach the skill of responding to the name. The best part is this can be taught in virtually any environment and it won't cost you a dime. Hi, my name is Mel. My daughter Danny was diagnosed with severe autism when she was 18 months old. She couldn't walk, she couldn't talk, she couldn't point, she didn't respond to her name. There was no communication, no engagement, nothing like that. But despite those challenges, when I received that diagnosis, I really felt in my spirit that something was wrong. I felt like that wasn't a real diagnosis, and I began to research. Please go and watch Danny's recovery video. It will really encourage you. But ultimately, within 18 months of having received that diagnosis, Danny had made a full recovery. And it was because we decided to treat her for virtual autism and not classic autism, despite what all the experts said. And ultimately, that's why this channel was created. I really want to help parents. I am not a medical expert. I don't know anything about anything. All I know is what I have experienced with my daughter. So please don't take anything that I'm saying as medical advice. You go and speak to your own therapist, your own doctors. All I want to share with you is what happened with Danny. As I said, she was not diagnosed with virtual autism. She was diagnosed with severe autism. Yet here she is today, 4 years old, completely recovered, and was completely recovered within 18 months of that diagnosis. If you watch her recovery story, you'll actually see footage of her before the treatment plan that we did with her at home and after. So you'll see her at her worst with the severe classic autism symptoms, and then you'll see her 18 months later completely developmentally typical. Remarkable transformation. Let's get into the name calling info. So when a child actually responds to their name, they become more attentive and responsive to others. They also begin to recognize themselves as individuals, which really helps them develop a sense of identity. Responding to their name is a foundational skill for communication, social interaction, and learning. And the way a child actually responds to their name will reflect how well they can actually follow instructions, participate appropriately in activities with others, and build self-awareness, self-confidence, and a sense of identity. There are many ABA techniques that is used to teach the skill. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 specifically. The first one I want to speak about is pairing. Pairing is when you associate the child's name with something positive. So for example, when you call your child's name, you want to immediately follow it with an enthusiastic praise, a smile, a hug, some kind of small reward. And this teaches the child that hearing and responding to their name is linked to a positive experience. I remember with Danny, right in the beginning, when she used to wake up in the morning, I had a camera in her room, so I would see her sit up in her crib, and she wouldn't say anything often. She would just sit there. So unless I was actually monitoring her, I wouldn't even know, because she would just be silent. I would see her sit up in her crib, and I would go down and I would open the door and put the lights on, and I would be like, Danny, and I would give her a big hug, and I would say, I missed you so much. And I'd hug her and then lift her out of the crib. And I mean, at first, there was virtually no response, no smile, no interaction. But as time went on, she started to actually anticipate that, and she would get up and reach for me and hug me. And it's so funny now, because that's just become something I do. And as you know, I've got a 2-year-old as well. So when this happens with my other child, I'll go in and I'll do the same thing with her, and I'll say, Emery, I missed you so much. And I mean, she's completely typically developing, and she says, I missed you so much. It's so cute. It creates a really special bond. And there's a positive reward to calling the name immediately in the form of physical contact and just love. Kids really respond well to love, affection, and attention. And this was a huge difference for Danny. And I would begin to do those types of things throughout the day. which takes me to the second one, incidental teachings. This is when you take advantage of natural opportunities throughout the day to reinforce responding to their name. So, for example, let's say your child is running around playing happily. While that's happening, you call their name while they're actually engaged in that activity. Wait for them to respond. And when they do respond, you immediately provide a small reward. You might not want your child having a lot of sugar. It depends on what you do in your family. We did a lot of things like raisins. I would cut up grapes, little half grapes and stuff. But you can do anything that you're comfortable, that your child loves as a reward. So you wait for them to respond. As soon as they respond, you give them some kind of reward, and then you continue speaking with whatever you were going to say. As I said, opportunities like this would come up multiple times a day, and you just utilize every opportunity. I used to have a little bowl of raisins or grapes that I cut up and use those immediately. I'd even use this kind of reward approach when I was teaching Danny to walk. That's a different video, but I would often use raisins and things like that, reward-based things, and it was extremely effective. The third way is graduated guidance. With this method, you actually create teaching opportunities yourself. So you would encourage your child to engage in an activity that they love. Maybe they're building blocks or magnet tiles or cars, anything that they really, really enjoy. Have a reward ready, and then you use a verbal and a physical prompt to engage with them. So for example, let's say your child's playing with blocks. You're going to get down to their level behind them, and you're going to call them and tap them on the shoulder at the same time. So what this would look like is I would literally come up behind Danny. You would go, Danny. And in the beginning, it's virtually at the same time. So you would say, Danny, tap. And as soon as they look at you, it's a reward, whether it's the grape, the candy, the cookie, whatever it is that you're using to reward them with. And then the goal here is that as they learn, you're going to be putting a time in between the verbal prompt and the physical, so that it would be initially Danny, tap, and then they respond and you give them a reward. Then it becomes Danny, 1, 2, tap. And that 1, 2 space gap becomes 3, 4, 5 until it no longer is even required. So that's the goal there. Now, one of the main things you need to really remember is generalization and maintenance. Your child might respond really well at home, but this is not something that you only want them doing at home. So you need to be practicing this on a very regular basis. I remember them mentioning around 20 times to me per day. So focus on doing this multiple times a day, and focus on doing it everywhere you go, whether it's the playground, whether it's the grandparents' house, church group, play group, wherever you are, you're going to apply this, because your child needs to know that this isn't just something they need to do at home. It's everywhere. If they hear their name, they need to respond. So practice this in every single environment that you go to. And I want to leave you with 2 final things, very important, that you don't do. Number 1, don't overuse your child's name. If you are constantly saying their name, it's going to become redundant, and it'll just float into the background like every other noise. So be very intentional when you're using their name. Don't reuse their name for every little thing. And then the second thing I want to just mention is don't attach demands to your child's name. For instance, don't say, Danny, come here, or Danny, sit down. Always make sure that when you're using their name, there's a positive connection or link, not a demanding or anything other, negative like that, because it's going to create a deterrent to learning how to respond. So again, don't overuse their name. And number 2, don't attach demands to their name. I really hope that helps you. I'm actually creating a document for you all. Anyone who's looking for it, it's going to be a step-by-step guide on what we did, like from A to Z, just breaking it down, because this was such a difficult transition for me, and there was so little information on the internet, and I had to learn so much. So my goal here is really to create a resource that's going to really, really benefit you as a mom, as a dad, as a caregiver, to help your child come out of this. If you are interested in that, make sure that you hit the bell so you receive notifications when I release content. I will release a video when that document is ready. If you have any very specific questions that you would like me to answer, please, by all means, put them in the comments, and I will try and help you as much as I can. Amen. God bless you. We'll see you next week.